Right, so it's bike first. They've got to run to the bike. They've already got their swimming gear on. It's bike, swim, run. And the staggered start. So, as we said, the time lost in stage 1 and 2 is paid for right here. Vincent Lewis will go off first. And 1 second to Jonathan Brownlee. Off they go. 7 seconds wait for Hayden Wilde, and he'll go. There he goes in the back. But don't forget, this is the man with the short shoot of the Sharks behind him. Valasa goes. Then Ryder will go. He has to wait for another 11 seconds. Then Alex Yee will go behind him, and then 10 seconds to Shachar Sagiv. Oh, it hurts, doesn't it? But these two men at the front, will they be joined by Hayden Wilde?
They know what's at stake here. They know they have to keep Hayden Wilde off the back, who has not even put his shoes on. It reminds me of the Jersey event when you're off the back, Rich, and you're able to ride across. You're in exactly the same position as this, and you rode across that day to Vince and to Johnny from
That was one of the most painful events I've gone through, I think. But I think Hayden Wilde, you can see he's already made up a couple seconds here just from his really fast transition. They've all got their swim caps on under their bike helmets, which is a first. And I think Hayden's going to just go nail and hammer you until he gets to the back of these guys.
I don't think Vincent's going to want to let Hayden Wilde get onto this group at all. He'll communicate that to Johnny. They're two very, very experienced racers on screen. And they know the danger that Hayden Wilde possesses with such a big run. They don't want him in this race at all. Isolate him, make him work. Makes a tough day at the office for Hayden Wilde.
There he is at the back there. He started 8 seconds or 7 seconds in arrears. He's not that far now. He's got a monster bike leg.
He's moving across.
Dun, dun,
oh,
dun,
he is
dun.
hunting.
Here comes the shark.
And there comes the shark. And to have 2 against 1 as well, that just shows you how much power he's putting in. And also isolated there is the other shark in Valasa. And these guys, well, the day's over for Marco van der Stel.
He's got a great haircut, though.
Yeah, that's true. Taylor Reid there also.
Wilde's got him. He's got on.
Wilde is on the back.
What a lap
go.
by Hayden Wilde.
What
a
the
lap.
best bikers in the field by far.
And he'll build a lot of confidence from that. And I think Vincent will think, wow, okay. Because you get that feeling when you're committed and the gap still closes, you think, oh, man, he's in form and he's feeling great. So it's sort of, for Hayden Wilde, he's building confidence. For the other two, it's like, damn, he made it.
Hasn't even bothered putting his feet in. The shoes, no time for that.
And he's
doing it now.
He's got the short shoot in his back pocket too.
He needs to just sit pretty and wait for that short shoot. If you can hang with these two, probably 5 seconds. We've seen Vince do it to other people so many times. And here is Ryder and Yee.
Vasco Valencia off the side there as well.
That's your top 6. So top 7, sorry.
Well, Valasa was at 4 seconds behind Hayden Wilde as they started this pursuit. So you can contrast that to the amount of effort that Hayden Wilde put in on that first lap to the gap back to Vasco Valasa. It's huge. Hayden Wilde's riding 500 plus watts to get across to those two.
Oh, it's a couple of thousand watts going up the corners there.
Amazing, amazing ride.
And he's just got
the
into
Sharks
the
doing incredibly well. There's the points. Scorpions picking up 11 in the men's. The Eagles only picking up 4, but they had a big gap thanks to their efforts in the women's, and they're sitting on 67. So the Eagles look to have this wrapped up. Of course, $320,000 US being handed out for the first for the teams alone, including $120,000 for the team that wins this week, this month's racing. So they're not doing it for nothing in the team's concept. Plenty of incentive to make sure, because the winning team will pick up $20,000 US or $15,000 US each to add to their prize money from individual racing. So a very, very rich month of racing.
Probably some of the most money that World Series, or the Super League has had, in the last few years, by far, for certain, with the teams into it. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, 1.25 million. That's outstrips by far what we've had in previous years as the racing gets richer and bigger. Oh, using every part of the track there with Seth Ryder. Great result in Edmonton a couple of months ago. Finished 4th. Not a couple of months ago, a couple of weeks ago.
He's definitely been climbing. Seth Ryder's definitely been climbing up there. I remember training with him in France many years ago, the one time. But yeah, he's definitely been improving the last. Best American, I think, in the World Series currently.
Hayden Wilde, the thing that both Johnny Brownlee and Vincent Lewis must be thinking right now is Hayden Wilde's ridden across to us. We've got a big gap on 4th place. Do we get tactical? Do we let Vilasa come across? Or do we wait for this swim and really open up and try and isolate Hayden Wilde? Because we do not want to get into a run shootout with Hayden Wilde when he's in this type of confidence and this type of form. He's so unpredictable, so difficult to pick. I wouldn't be surprised if he ran away with it. They need to do something in this swim.
Well, they know he's got the short shoot, and Vilasa knew he'd be stuck out here by himself, so that's why he's got the aero bars on. Saw into the future, but, you know, it's got to play in your mind if you're Brownlee or Lewis, knowing, and especially Vince Lewis. In fact, if you remember Mallorca and Vince Lewis doing the job on Johnny Brownlee by using the short shoot at the back end and stealing the win from him, they'll all know the impact the short shoot can have and how much they need to put a little gap on Hayden Wilde. Because if they all run together, it's pretty much game over if Wilde can stick with them. Vince has done it many times. Johnny's had it done to him. And so those two need to work together to outswim Hayden Wilde over that 300 metres, as they did in the previous stage. And Vasco Vilasa, 8 seconds back. That is your top 4. Great result. Great effort from Vilasa as well.
Vilasa's had a great day. He's been right there. He's been isolated a couple of times. He went out with Yi on that run and really dug into the red, which isolated him in this last stage. But what I love about the 3 there on screen is none of them are scared to move to the front and do their turn of work. You find that in a lot of racing, a lot of athletes start to get tactical and think and drop back to save the legs. All 3 of these athletes are prepared to do their fair share of working. But I think Hayden Wilde seems to be on the front a lot more than the other 2.
Yeah, I think, well, Hayden knows that he's got to keep the other guys away behind to make sure that he obviously gets on the podium, but it's going to be really down to the swim for Hayden to know if he stays on the feet. I know exactly what he's going through because I remember this being in this exact same scenario. It's the most horrible thing knowing that you're going to have to put all in on the swim and have to try and close the gap again on the bike perhaps. So it's definitely going to be a big call for him. We're going to see how he's going to hopefully get it out ahead of these guys on the start of the swim. It's going to make them, force him to swim around him to save some time.
We saw that in the second stage. He entered the water first with those 3 athletes, with those 2 others, with Johnny Brownlee and Vincent Louis, and lost, what, 5 or 6 seconds. So this will be the swimmer Hayden Wilde's life coming up, knowing he has a 3-second advantage with that short shoot. It's going to be interesting.
Vilasa still doing all the work he can to stay on the back of this top 3. He's going to need a big swim as well as they come off the bike. Those transitions just so perfect. So difficult to execute when your heart rate is as high as it is. The bikes go in the racks and they go for their last swim of the day, and straight out goes Wilde.
Vince taking a bit of a, he went a bit shortly on the inside, I think.
Yeah, Vince wants to be in there first, and Wilde's put himself between him and Brownlee. So that's dangerous for Johnny Brownlee. He has to see him drive to the right. He wants to get over the top of Hayden Wilde and take the feet of Vincent Lewis.
It's going to be interesting to see. I think Vince went between the bike racks there instead of going
around.
He did. I'm not sure
whether
it
looked like Hayden Wilde was pointing it out.
Yeah,
he didn't like it.
No.
So we'll wait for any, you know, feedback on that from our race officials and our race director, whether that is in fact okay, because Hayden Wilde certainly thought it wasn't. But Vince, he's a wily character. He knows exactly what he needs to do to win.
He's probably asked the question before the stage, kept it hush-hush, realised the rules were playing in his favour. I won't tell any of my other competitors, and used it at the time you want to use it. It's like a swim short.
Vilasa's on the back there.
He is too.
It's like his own personal short shoot. Yeah, exactly.
Vilasa's had a fantastic transition to put himself back in this race, and we know he can run as well.
Yeah, he's definitely so.
Big swim by Vincent Louis now. He knows this is the time you see him come off this first swim buoy. He'll get the kick in, accelerate. Johnny will be aware of that, and he'll come off that second swim buoy again and really open up. We saw that in the last stage, and that's where the gap started to open up on Hayden Wilde.
So this looks like Johnny Brownlee pushing Hayden Wilde to the left to make sure he got on the feet of Vincent Lewis.
Good racing by Johnny Brownlee.
Yeah, yes, that's very true.
That's clever racing. Move him aside. He knows that the train at the front is going forward, and I'm not missing it.
Well, they haven't dropped Hayden Wilde, though. The 4 of them are there together.
Start to open.
And Jonas Schomburg is about to be eliminated. He's 13th in this race. So we're down to the final 12. Gordon Benson's on the bubble too. Max Studer, Aaron Royal, all over a minute down. But as it stands, in this swim, Lewis, Wilde and Brownlee, and then Vilasa, Alex Yee, Seth Ryder, Shatjar Sagiv having an absolute blinder. Jake Birtwhistle, Alessandro Fabian, Aaron Royal are your top 10. So a scorpion, a shark and a cheetah at the front. And and then a Shark and a couple of Eagles in the top 6. But it's all about these 4 men. The Scorpion of Vincent Lewis, the Shark of Hayden Wilde, and of Vasco Velasa, and in between them, Johnny Brownlee, the #1 pick for the Cheetahs.
And that distance there is about the short shoot distance from looking at it.
5 seconds here.
Yeah, it looks about 2 or 3 seconds. It could open up again as they hit dry land. They'll open up this gap. As Hayden's still swimming, they're going to move quickly.
Out of the water for the last time. 1.6 kilometres to go at London Super League Triathlon. A little slip from Wilde. Velasa out behind him. And now it's just all about the run home. The short shoot goes to Hayden Wilde. But these 2 men have been a huge force in Super League since its inception. Running shoes on for the last time.
And that's the slowest transition from Vincent Louis in quite a while.
Cost him a few seconds there.
Johnny Brownlee out quick.
Hayden also struggling a little bit.
This is the run for the dough, and Johnny Brownlee's going to love the support. The crowd here is amazing. It's enormous. It goes all the way, wraps around the Marriott Hotel. 3 or 4 deep.
Oh, this reminds me of Mallorca in 2018. It was Brownlee versus Lewis then. They both had a short shoot. Brownlee took it on lap 1. Lewis took it on lap 2 and stole it by about 5 or 6 seconds. But back then, Hayden Wilde wasn't a factor, and he is this time around. There is the short shoot. They're going to run back past it now. You can see the short shoot right there, the 2 yellow poles.
Interestingly,
and
Hayden,
maybe that's around too big, Macca, at this point.
Well, interestingly, Hayden didn't take that then to cut that gap in half. You know, you wonder if it was worth taking then to cut that little gap in half to be with that
just
that
to get on,
three,
get
just
onto
to get
the
on.
back. Yeah,
because now they're going to work together and open that gap, and whether he takes a short shoot in this next lap, he still could be at a deficit.
This could still be. This is the action. He's still in the action for 100%. I think that's about the short shoot there. This is going to be a.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
It's going to be a rehearsal one to when was it? Jersey, not Jersey Island, Mallorca with Johnny and Vince.
Yeah, that's right. And how Velasa is hanging really tough, and in the background, in 5th position, is Alex Yee, who's run away from Seth Ryder, who's having a great race as well. And the camera foreshortens things a little bit. There's still a decent gap there between Brownlee and Wilde, but it's closing.
And Hayden's taken some time to get his composure, to find his rhythm. You saw him concentrating and getting that breathing under control. He's working through this run. He's going to squeeze this hill. You see the grimace on the back, close that gap. And man, it will be an interesting last shootout if he hits this short shoot and comes out in front.
We're going to want to see the sprint here between Vince and Hayden.
He is on.
It's going to be good.
We are on for a shootout. This will be brilliant.
Well, he announced himself onto the Super League scene and, of course, onto the elite racing scene after a great cross-country and Xterra junior career by winning a sprint with Mario Mola, the then world champion, back in Jersey a couple of years ago. And now Hayden Wilde is a real force, and he's sitting behind 2 of the biggest names in world triathlon, and there's 800 metres to go for all the biscuits here in London.
He's moved past Johnny Brownlee. You saw Vincent Louis and Johnny have a look at the big screen to see where Hayden was. They saw he was on. They know he has a short shoot. And this is really, really difficult, this cobble. You heard Jess Lima say she was going over on ankles. We ran back here to get to the commentary position. It is really difficult underfoot.
Here comes the short shoot. Hayden's going to have to take it here, I think, when he comes through. Yeah, he's going to take it.
Here he goes.
Here we go.
And Hayden.
Now he's going to commit.
Into the lead. And that is what the short shoot can do for you. There is the gap, and you've got to say that's bigger than the gap than we thought it was going to be.
Vince has got to
There's
sprint.
4 seconds there, probably.
Vince is going to start giving it everything now. He's got to give it everything.
There's no sitting back now for Vincent Louis. He has to close the gap. They let Hayden Wilde. Well, they didn't let him. Hayden Wilde ran onto him at the back of that first lap with the short shoot. Vincent is all in. He gets that rocking running style going.
Vince is on
he
the
is
gas.
all in.
Cadence is up. Cadence is up. He's going for it. It's going to be good to see what happens here.
Oh, this is what I've missed about Super League racing. Can Hayden Wilde do a Vincent Lewis to Vincent Lewis and take the short shoot and steal this race? You can see, as you said, Vince is really putting it all in, but so is Hayden. And it looks like we've lost Johnny off the back. And Vasco Velasa is trying to track him down.
Vince
saw
is
Vince
sprinting.
go again. He just opened up that speed again. He's looked back for Johnny, which is not a good sign.
Johnny's looking back for Vasco as well.
Oh, look at that face. Here he goes, Hayden Wilde. There's one more turn to go. He's gone up The incline, I don't think they're going to catch him.
They're not going to get him from here, and he knows it.
Got to love it. You've got to love it.
Look at Vince in the background, fully committed.
He ran a qualifying 5K time to make the New Zealand Olympic team, didn't end up getting selected. He's so quick over these distances. Vince is putting in absolutely everything behind him, but it's not going to be enough. The Falcon is going to fly in London. A race win and a round win for Hayden Wilde of New Zealand. Wow. What a moment and how much it means to him. Ahead of Vincent Lewis. Is this a changing of the guard? What a moment. And he's given it absolutely everything, Lewis, to take the silver ahead of Brownlee. But is this the moment we see the torch being passed on?